This is a countertop in my studio and I've covered it twice now with contact paper and I'm gonna tell you why. Today I am sharing 5 peel and stick projects and my honest take on every single one. Let's start with the countertop because the story behind this is probably one of the most useful things I will tell you in this video. I covered my studio countertop here 5 years ago with marble look contact paper and I absolutely loved it. It lasted 5 years and it looked completely flawless until I accidentally drove some nails through it and stained it with some wood stain. So then I simply just peeled it off and recovered it with some fresh contact paper, chose a different pattern, and we were good to go. What I love about this particular peel and stick that I used on the countertop, and this is what not many people will tell you, is that this was actually durable. I did 4 years of DIYs and crafts on this surface with a glue gun, paint, etc. It wiped off so nicely. And then when I accidentally wrecked it with heat stain my nail gun, I simply was able to peel it off without wrecking the surface underneath and reapply. I'll make sure to link this particular peel and stick down in that description box below, along with everything that I'm using in today's video. To apply this, I simply rolled it out, backing and all, over my countertop to make sure I had the right length. Then I removed the backing little by little, so about 4 to 6 inches each time, and smoothed that really well with a hard edge over my countertop. You want to really work out any of those air bubbles to make it look more like real marble. What I've learned about peel and stick is that you do want to work slowly. You don't want to rush this because you're going to be really frustrated at the end if you went too quick and you have bubbles and wrinkles. The edges are usually what throw people for a loop when they're covering up countertops like this. I simply cut a notch out of mine and folded it down. If you're working with rounded surfaces, sometimes you can use a hairdryer and kind of ease and pull the contact paper over, especially if it's this brand. I also use this on our RV countertop that does have some curves to it and it worked out really well on the edges. The total cost for this one is going to depend on how much countertop you need to cover, but for me, it was usually about a $40 to $50 project. I'm gonna rate this one a 9 out of 10. I love how this specific contact paper looks like real marble. I loved how it's held up in my studio and also in my RV for 6 years now. The only reason it's not a 10 is because you do have to be really careful about matching up the marble veining, and the corners can be tricky and sometimes take a little bit of fiddling. Peel and stick project 2, and this is one of my favorites, and I've done this one multiple times, and it is wallpaper. And I have to be upfront about something here before we get into the rest of this DIY. In my experience, quality truly matters when you're doing peel and stick wallpaper. I'm all about budget-friendly solutions, but when it comes to this specific product, I tend to invest a little bit more because you're really gonna notice the difference. I've used thinner peel and stick wallpapers from Amazon, and I find those just don't have the high-end look of the thicker peel and stick wallpapers. I have a couple favorite brands, and I'll make sure to link them down in that description box below. These go up completely differently than the thinner ones. They're more forgiving, and the results are gonna look more like real wallpaper than a cheap sticker. One more product worth knowing about when you're applying peel and stick wallpaper is this handy dandy wallpaper helper spray. I use this on a couple projects now and it makes such a huge difference. If you apply this to your wall first before you apply your peel and stick wallpaper, it gives your wallpaper what's called slip. So you can actually move it around a little bit, get it in the perfect position, match up your patterns and seams before it's actually stuck there. That's been one of my challenges with peel and stick wallpaper in the past, is it's so super sticky that once you put it up in one spot, you really don't have any movement. And it can be so frustrating removing it and putting it back up again. Now, beyond quality, the other thing that's a game changer for peel and stick wallpaper is pattern. If you're working with a smaller pattern or a stripe, it's a lot easier to line up from panel to panel. If you're working with a really large botanical print, that's a little bit less forgiving. So if you're a beginner with peel and stick wallpaper, you might want to try more of a forgiving pattern first. I've done peel and stick in our cabin rental, in my parents' house, in my own house, and my most recent application was in our dining room. I love this beautiful wallpaper. It went up really well with that wallpaper helper spray. And essentially what I did here was measure panels that were a few inches longer than where I needed to put them. And then once I applied them, I'm also using this little straight edge that the company gave to me to put up this wallpaper. I'm just using a craft knife to cut everything perfectly at the ceiling and at the trim. And then when I have things to cut around, I'm using that same sort of strategy where I'm cutting the paper a little bit bigger than what I need and then using a craft knife to cut perfectly around my window trim. And I also made sure to use that wallpaper spray before I put up every panel, so I was able to move the panels around a little bit once I had them up there to make the pattern match exactly. Now, the total cost of a project like this, again, this can vary. If you're using a less expensive wallpaper, maybe you're doing it for the first time and just want to try an inexpensive wallpaper from Amazon, you might spend $50, $80. If you're using a more expensive brand like I have here, you could spend anywhere from a few hundred to $1,000, which I know is expensive, but I think that wallpaper makes such a gorgeous statement, and I love how it looks in our dining room. My honest verdict on peel and stick wallpaper is an 8 out of 10. I do find this harder to apply than a peel and stick countertop, but if you practice it took me a few tries, you're gonna be so excited about how you can absolutely change a space. For project 3, and this one surprises most people when I tell them that it is not real tile, we're gonna talk about peel and stick tile. I've done this in a few different spaces, including our RV, my studio, my brother's condo, and I have some strong opinions about peel and stick tile. First of all, and I cannot say this strongly enough, do not buy dollar store peel and stick tile. I know it looks kind of good on the shelf. I know it's only a couple dollars, but it's actually a terrible product. I learned the hard way when I tiled my studio, and after maybe about 6 months, the tile started slowly peeling off the wall. When I removed it from the wall, I removed chunks of drywall off my wall. So it was not worth the $2 a pack for this tile. Plus a lot of it yellowed, which was also very frustrating. And I used all the right methods of applying this tile. So I don't think it was the method, I think it was the product itself. Second thing a lot of people don't talk about with peel and stick tile is you do want to test it first. So try to find an inconspicuous spot on your kitchen wall or wherever you're doing this. Put a little piece of the tile on there, let it sit for a week or so, and then try to peel it off and see what happens. If you're using fresh paint, you're gonna have issues. With specific tile brands like Dollar Store, for example, you're gonna have issues where it's gonna be pulling off chunks of drywall. And if that's okay with you and you're okay with repairing drywall, that's just something that you should know. And the key to a good application for this tile is good surface prep. So you wanna make sure that you wipe your walls with a degreasing cleaner before you apply this. Make sure they're completely dry. Do not apply these on fresh paint. There's specific brands that I really love. Again, I will link those down in that description box below that I think look very realistic and that have lasted a long time for me. I especially love these mosaic marble look tiles that I have in our RV. They've held up so well, even in extreme weather fluctuations from 40 degrees Celsius to minus 40 degrees Celsius. When you're working with these peel and stick tiles, you can simply use scissors to cut them, and you can use a craft knife if you're cutting around outlets, windows, etc. Sometimes I'll make a template with some scrap paper and use that to cut out my tile pieces as well. This works really well when you have windows, etc. The total cost for something like this, again, is so dependent on the material you choose, but for my RV, for example, was only around $120, and it took probably about 4 hours. My honest verdict for peel and stick tile, this is about a 7 out of 10, but you wanna use the right product. I think this can look really good with nice looking tile, but it can also go really badly if you're using cheap tile from the dollar store and you're trying to remove it later. Now, project 4, I was probably the most skeptical about until I did it. I think it's one of the most dramatic transformations in this video, and it's actually on the ceiling, so stay with me for this one. We're gonna talk about a peel and stick wood plank ceiling, and I need to give you some honest context on this particular DIY. I did this in our primary bedroom ceiling 10 years ago this year, actually. So I did use this sort of rustic wood that was very trendy back then for the farmhouse look. If I was to do it again right now, I probably would use something a little bit sleeker, maybe something that had like a whitewash sort of Hampton style look to it. If you're doing this, you don't have to go with this rustic look. I actually still love it in my room, so I'm gonna keep it even though I do have some people pressuring me online to change it. If I do get sick of it, I'll probably just paint it white or whitewash it white. But ultimately, like I always say, do what you love no matter what the trends are. I still love this ceiling, so I'm gonna keep it like this. This one was actually pretty tricky because whenever you're doing something on the ceiling, it is pretty hard on your shoulders, on your back, so you wanna make sure you have a proper step ladder, etc. I did use a laser level to make sure that my lines were straight, and this product, you simply just peel off these strips on the back and it sticks right to the ceiling. You can also cut it with a miter saw, or you can even use a craft knife and a hard edge for this. I also made sure that I staggered the joints on this, kind of like you would if you were installing a hardwood floor, so that the joints never lined up perfectly, so it had that more natural look to it. I did this in a tray ceiling, so I also did the little vertical strip all the way around with some shorter pieces. And then we finished everything off with a little bit of crown molding so that you don't see any of those ends. Now, the total cost for this, I did this 10 years ago and it was probably only a few $100s. Now it might be closer to $1,000 depending on what product you use, but I would rate this a 10 out of 10 because I think that people often forget the fifth wall when they're DIYing and decorating their house, which is the ceiling. I love the texture this adds, the interest, and it makes our bedroom feel so cozy. Let's now move on to peel and stick privacy film, and this is a product that I really love. It is so practical. I used it on my home office doors. We have these French doors that go from our main area in our home, the dining room, living room area, into the office, and I wanted to put some sort of privacy on there so that people didn't see my messy office all the time. So when I found this privacy film that looks like high-end reeded glass, I thought this is absolutely perfect for this project. To apply this, you're going to need to cut your pieces to fit the glass in your door, whether it's paneled like mine, or I've also done a full open French door as well. Either is gonna work. Once you've cut your pieces, you need to apply some water to the glass, and this is going to be what helps you move your privacy film around and help it adhere to the glass. On this particular film, there's a backing that you peel off, and then you can apply it with any sort of straight edge or credit card. I used my handy dandy IKEA spatula, and you're going to push out any air bubbles or water bubbles. This is gonna cost you anywhere from about $40 to maybe $80, depending on the door that you have to cover, and I would rate this one a 10 out of 10. I think it looks fabulous. I think it looks like high-end reeded glass, but it's simply privacy film that I installed later. I love how I have privacy now in my office without losing that light that passes through. My honest overall take on peel and stick in general is I think it is a fantastic way to decorate and renovate your home on a budget, as long as you, number one, take the time to do the right prep on your wall or your surface that you're applying the peel and stick product to. Buy a quality peel and stick product when it matters, and for me, that is absolutely when you're buying peel and stick wallpaper or peel and stick tile. The rest I've been able to use cheaper options. Also, make sure you are not rushing. Take the time to apply it properly, check out the directions from the manufacturer, go slow, get out all those bubbles, take your time. The most dramatic ones, I think, are the wallpaper and the ceiling. Those two can make a huge difference in your space. And my peel and stick privacy film office doors are probably the one that people comment the most on. And again, all the products I recommend, I will leave them linked in the description box of this video, so check those out if you are curious. If you have tried any of these, let me know down in those comments below. I would love to hear your opinion and your experience as you've used peel and stick. What's worked, what's not? Let us all know so that we don't make the same mistakes. And if you want my full list of budget finds from both Amazon and IKEA that make your home look gorgeous on a budget, I'll give you a link to grab my free list of 30 essentials down in that description box below as well, and I will see you in the next video.